We're here today at the Gartner Identity and Access Management Summit, and I'm here today with Tim Dunn, who is the European Strategy Vice President for CA Technologies. Tim, just to start things off in terms of what you're providing and what you're looking at and offering here at the conference today. I understand you've got a solution which one of the aspects is particularly around content awareness of identity and access management control within a virtualized environment. Can you tell us in particular what makes your solution unique around that?
Yeah, our definition of identity and access management is broader, I would say, than an analyst like Gartner would have defined it, or other vendors will define it. So we see that the need to understand what information somebody is trying, or an identity is trying to access, is an important part of the context for whether or not they should be able to use that information. So the identity and what he's trying to access is part of the overall problem. Typically, data loss prevention and identity and access management have been seen as two different disciplines, very separated. Particularly as we move to the cloud and virtualized environments, understanding the data and how it's flowing and who it's flowing to, and based on that, specifically at real time, what they can then do with it, is what we've coined content-aware identity management.
Right. So just to explore that a bit further, what are the problems you think this is solving in detail?
Well, let's give an example. It's probably the easiest thing to do. Now, if you looked at it traditionally, I may be a finance director or a CFO and have perfect rights to access our unpublished financial information in an organization. So if I was looking at it from an identity, a traditional identity and access management point of view, I'd be given access to that information. However, given the sensitivity of that information, should I be able to put it on my laptop or burn it to a USB stick or put it into Excel and send it round in my email? No, because of the sensitivity. So it's important I understand how that information should be treated, as well as who I am, and treat all of that as one specific issue, which is what we call the content-aware identity and access management.
Sorry, so what you're saying is that it enables you to control what you do with the information at a granular level, which many systems aren't able to do.
Extremely granular, and we see that as probably one of the most critical challenges as we move to the cloud, where your control over external organizations and where your data is residing is going to become more and more difficult to control. So identity and access management is going to have to consider content, and that's why we got into this very, very early.
If I could move the topic on a little bit, I know that at the moment identity and access management has come in from a variety of different angles, security side and data control and so on. So another angle to identity and access management is on the convergence side, the convergence of the physical and the logical security. So what do your solutions offer in that space?
Yeah, it's a lot of the traditional disciplines we've had in the virtual world, the IT world, where being able to, what we've called things like onboard and offboard people's access is just something that we understand and do within an IT world. More and more, they want that level of management and level of governance to also cover logical environments and have those type of disciplines. So, for example, something that our acquisition of Arcot gave us very recently is services where we can provide strong authentication and allow us to do two-factor authentication of individuals. And once you've done that, it doesn't really matter whether you then leverage that in the IT world or whether you leverage it in the physical world. What people want to do is burn that identity either onto a card or into a token that then can be used by the physical world and the IT world. So certainly we see that as a key need. We saw it very early on in the healthcare marketplace, for example, where doctors were and other health professionals were travelling between different health authorities and different hospitals, but the information they were accessing was extremely sensitive. They're going into environments physically that they need to be authenticated in, but then they're accessing patient records and other sensitive information which also needs to be dealt with. So even from just a cost basis, people wanted to combine that out into one identity and manage it. But it also means from a reporting and a governance point of view, you've now got one single view of all of that access.